Not exactly hidden. Thank you for joining me, Koga. Can I offer you something? Tea? Beer? A bit of whiskey? Pukey offers the ninja and receives a slight smile instead. I have sake, I'm fine, Koga remarks. You said something about the debt? We've stumbled on a big prize and big problem. We need more manpower to take it, Pukey remarks. You have my attention, Koga says as he uses a touch of axiom to warm his sake, even as he pours it into a saucer to drink. My team and I make the general, but so far accurate, assumption that every major population center is going to have some level of crime. As such, no matter where we go, as legally licensed bounty hunters, we are able to find a good amount of work and have plenty of excuses to say hello to local authorities and therefore get a good scouting of a planet done. I see. I presume you stumbled on something unusual? Yes. One of our trainees set up a sting to see how the local pedophile population was. They're usually easy bounties as many women are hyper-protective of children, and all told such an operation is a slam dunk for making friends with the local police. Pukey explains and Koga nods. I believe I understand where you're going with this. You stumbled onto something much larger than anticipated. Yes and no. We stumbled into a police sting operation. We were going for the customer, but the local issue is apparently so prevalent that the police were trying to find the source. We crossed each other's firing lines and were made aware of each other. I see, and you want my help, and the help of the other soldiers stationed in the dark forest to infiltrate and help take down these targets. Also, locate. This group has kept things close to the chest and we don't even have a name for them. Then, what are the hints? Known, but currently untouchable perpetrators going off the grid and coming back with distinct satisfaction. Their serving staff have overheard a few confrontations and a few messages have been intercepted. Couple that with the fact that there have been numerous eyewitness statements of play dates with strangers, and it paints a gruesome picture. Unfortunately, all of it so far is hearsay and conjecture. No hard evidence so far, not hard enough to slap cuffs on the rich and powerful at any rate. So in other words, you need spies, scouts, and infiltration agents. How highly ranked are these targets? Koga asks, and Pukey grins. The ninjas are in. He activates his communicator and it begins projecting the info above itself. It shows the image of an Apuk woman with an unsettling gaze and a stern look on her face. She's well cared for, but no amount of luxury can hide the fact that she holds whoever was taking the picture in complete contempt. This is one of our more certain targets, Valerie Karth, 14th in line to the Karth County on Serbo. She instead left the planet to join the investor class rather than indulge in familicide or twiddle her thumbs for however many millennia it would actually take for her mother and elder sisters to die. Several lucky breaks later, and she's maintained a downright royal lifestyle for 200 years straight on Lilb Tulob. She's long been noted for being unfriendly and unpleasant and has been unable to secure a husband for any long period of time. She's avoided alimony payments due to a large collection of skilled lawyers and paying people off in bulk. Interesting. So what makes her a suspect? She has clear pedophilic tendencies. Her every marriage has broken up due to her outright demanding that her husband be constantly rejuvenated into a borderline prepubescent stage. Publicly, she's not gone much further than that, with her biggest faux pas being dressing a former lover like a small child and outright demanding he behave like one while making love to her. It ended shortly thereafter. Disturbing. Is there an easy in? Koga asks. Very easy, but not legal. She goes through serving staff like a chainsaw through paper. She hasn't retained anyone on longer than a decade, which in galactic terms is a tiny sliver of time. Unfortunately, all the staff sign NDA agreements as part of their basic contract, and she has been very litigation happy whenever it looks like someone's about to start talking. But it does mean she won't be surprised to find a new face around at all. Easy indeed. Are there further suspects? This woman may have guilty written across her in fluorescent paint, but that doesn't mean she actually is, Koga states. True, we have two more nigh-guaranteed targets. Val Ricarth was just the easiest and most obvious, Pukey says, pressing a small arrow to the left of the display of Val Ricarth. A second image comes out with a readout like the first. This one is of an Alfar with a diamond-shaped series of axiom tattoos across her face and also trailing down her neck to disappear into her clothing. Unlike Val Ricarth, who has assets listed, this one has a long list of suspected criminal activity, a number of petty crimes, and then a few addresses of known homes. Charlie Cianodel, 5 accounts of assault and vandalism, implicated in 4 kidnapping cases, implicated for murder twice, 1 account of arson, and then, after her stay in prison, has kept her nose clean, but is often brought in due to suspicion. Known to be in numerous amateur fighting circles and has often been spotted in areas where children gather, constantly denied for adoption and has been divorced twice due to conflicts with the rest of the family. Koga reads out loud. Possible scouter. Possible muscle. It's not showing in this image very well, but you're seeing the only parts of her body that don't have extensive axiom tattoos. This woman is an extremely dangerous adept. The Alfar have axiom use as a martial art, and this woman is the type that made her own effective style. Really? Koga asks. She makes her money through a few dojos she's founded, all of them in areas far too expensive for her low price to maintain, meaning she has an additional, undisclosed revenue source and likely some friends in local administration, Pukey says, before narrowing his eyes. Press the play button, and you'll see the final round of a tournament where her best student was disqualified for excessive brutality. Koga does so, and without sound, a fairly simple video begins. 2 women in what appear to be yoga outfits, and one of them covered in jagged tattoos. Both have an emblem on their shoulder bands, and one is an emblem of numerous diamonds and the other of what looks like some kind of shark. Both of them are Trets. The referee says something and steps back and well out of the way of the 2 women, who both give a very, very slight bow to one another. Clearly there was some kind of drama between the 2, and both of them are eager to settle the score. The shark girl opens up with conjuration of water that makes a blast, even as she gathers more to form into a curved blade. The blast is dodged by the diamond girl to flicker out of existence for a second and then charge from what seems to be 6 different directions at once as she flickers between them too quickly to really count. Shark Emblem brings up her sword that's still gathering water and unleashes all of it in a torrential disperse all around her. She catches a knee to the gut in response as Diamond flickered through it. As she staggers back, she gets a savage kick to the back as Diamond is already there. Koga watches grimly as a single woman gang beats another into unconsciousness and then keeps going when the referee approaches shouting something. So she's a teleport spammer, Koga notes. Maybe, maybe not, Pukey says. Part of that beating was so fast you'd swear there actually was 6 of that girl. I think it's a combination of both teleportation and some kind of projection. Imagine the concept of a one-man army taken to its illogical extreme. I think I've seen something like that before, Koga remarks as he considers. Isn't it something that some people spontaneously do, literally manifest their inner demons? I believe so. It's why I readily believe there's actually a lot of people there in that fight. And if the student is effectively 5 to 7 people at once, what's the master like? Pukey asks, and Koga considers before his mind falls on a very disturbing idea. The master would be untouchable. Think about it. If you're good enough with projections, you could send them away from you and effectively beat someone to death from around a corner. You could murder someone in broad daylight without even looking at them. Get even better, and you can do it while framing someone else. If this Cianodel character really is the muscle of a criminal organization, then we need to do some knife work, Koga says, before mentally adding that If they could get something to disrupt the axiom on them, then she would be almost helpless. A null detonation would work too, but that's about as disruptive as it comes. Worse comes to worse and we have null grenades. But we need to check the area to make sure that there's nothing that will just flat out die from the stuff, Pukey says. Not to mention a fair amount of our own tech is fairly reliant on it. We have dependable backups, but if we're rocking null, we need a null-resistant loadout. Indeed, Koga says as he looks pointedly at the powerful axiom-enhanced prosthetic arm that Pukey has. This will still work in null, but very clumsy and clunky. I'll be able to vaguely support a gun, punch someone, and grab something, but nothing fine-tuned, Pukey says, leaning the metallic arm on the table and supporting it against his face with 2 fingers. And the eye? Completely dead without axiom, but I can see through walls with it, Pukey says, and Koga lets out a low whistle. Which means some of the guards might be able to do the same, Koga mutters. That's my getting ahead of myself. Who's our third potential? Jacob Shrikatalan, a Valrin who was apparently rescued from such an organization before. The man has been outright spotted by police camera in the areas where children have gone missing over the past 2 decades. He has no official job, but is seen making large purchases. The local police haven't been able to concretely tie him to anything, and yet he still has a mysterious cash flow and has been around a full quarter of all missing children reports. Pukey introduces Koga and the man's eyes narrow. Shrikatalan is clearly an aggressive person if his constant glaring in the numerous reports flowing by that has a zoom in on part of a crowd to show him near an area where a child went missing. He will need careful watching. But why hasn't this clearly suspicious man been arrested? Koga asks. Because the local judges take one look at his history and see a closed-off, frightened victim putting on a brave face. Not an abuse victim that has become the abuser, Pukey says. Potentially, at any rate. This is the information that the police have. There may be better suspects, but we haven't been here long enough to spot any. So, observation, but no kidnapping anyone and tying them down for an interrogation, Koga notes. Something like that. This is either a perfect storm of coincidences that makes it look like there's a series of pedophiles and kidnappers operating on this world, or there is one, and it's not stupid, it's not weak, and it's operated for years with no concrete proof of its existence. True, our first suspect might just be nothing more than a wealthy woman with poor taste and a worse attitude. The second and third might simply do a lot of off-the-book work for cash, Koga says. So the first thing we do is we figure out if these 3 are actually innocent or if they're perpetrators. And if there actually is a cabal of child traffickers with customers for that degeneracy, how deep does it go and who's involved? We need information before we act. Pukey remarks. Yes, you do. I'm in. I'll start asking around the village for volunteers. In all likelihood, we'll have to reject some. I don't think anyone will want to sit this out. See if you can't get the Apuk sorcerers involved as well. From what I understand, they're fresh out of a horror story, and having something like that is one hell of a distraction in a rescue operation, Pukey says, and Koga's vicious grin is all the answer he needs.